Hi, Dr. Martin for KRAZ-TV. I'm the lone journalist with a new great book review. It's been the third one, a little skinny book. Well, it's got the data in it. I was fascinated, and it's something I was been interested in trying to do now. So it's called The Beginner's Guide to Wheel Throwing, a complete course for the potter's wheel by Julia Claire Weber. Excellent book. I mean, my brother's been doing clay and pots and stuff and hand firing them, but it got kind of me interested because we have a kiln here at the house, so I just wanted to. It's Quarto Press, 2021, so it's a brand new book, and it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful. Let me see her picture in here. She's got a picture about her. There is some great artwork, it's galleries and all, but about the author, there she is. Julia Claire Weber is a full-time studio artist. Wow, Julia Claire Clay. And a part-time gallery manager, a recent alumnus of the Odyssey Clayworks residency program. Julia is previously studio manager of Clay Space in Erie, and is a graduate of the Edinburgh University of Pennsylvania ceramics program. Julia keeps a full teaching schedule at craft and art centers across the country, and her work has been widely featured and displayed, including exhibitions at NCECA, Pottery Northwest, Houston Center for the Contemporary Craft, Objective Clay, and the Touchstone Center for Crafts. In print, Julia's work can be seen in Amazing Glaze, Creative Pottery, Ceramics Monthly, Ceramics Art Daily, and more. This woman, you know, I've told on the other channels, our new chiefs are strong women. Well, she is very forward and not afraid to be right there with it. So, some of it's getting started in the studio, or centered. That means putting the clay so it doesn't fly off the wheel. Throwing the basic forms, understanding clay and trimming, surface decorations, glazing, and firing tips. Oh, it's just so good, just so good. It says it's the beginner's guide to wheel throwing is an effective tool for everyone. The information is broken down in a very clear way. Julie explains the tools, techniques to become a successful wheel thrower. She guides us through her process with the same excitement she has as a maker, leaving the reader eager to learn more. Well, it certainly inspired me to learn more. I learned so much about glazes and firing and how to stack things in a kiln and how do you move with your fingers and compressing and pinching and trimming, and it's just such a great book. Great photography. So she has people, she mentions her, I'll see if I can remember to find it, but she talks about the types of clays, all the tools that you'll need, and they're not a lot, and there's some simple, but here are some of them. Here's some more. And then she's got finishing tools and brushes and things like that. So, safety. One thing she did say, and she stresses throughout this book, if you're working in dry clay and sanding greenware or whatever, always wear a mask because there's a high silica content in clay, and it does cause silicosis. I've been into mining, and I heard stories about two German guys that drilled underground without mask and without water to keep the dust down, and they died within 6 months. So silicosis is called white lung. There's black lung from the coal, but white lung is silicosis, and it is not good. So, talks about keeping clean, and then you got a wedge. The biggest thing with all clay is getting the air out. That is one of the biggest things to do. Then it goes into making pots, bowls, plates, how to score off the bottom, how to take the pot off the wheel, bats to hold it down. Then she goes into all these different types, and there were terms in here that was called sgraffito, which means scratching it. So there's types of glazes, and oh, it's just wonderful. Talks about the cones from cone zeros through 14, and then it goes cone 1 through 14. 14, I think, is one of the highest. Way up there, about 3,000. So porcelains are there. Earthenware is like terracotta pottery, and they talk about the clay after it's been fired, and even in bisque, takes up water. So in order to make it totally waterproof, you're going to have to glaze it or vitrify it at very high temps. So throwing the basic forms, the bowls, plates, like I said, and it goes how to dry. That's the big main thing, understanding clay and how to trim it. Stages of clay: dry, slip, plastic, soft, leather hard, dry hard, green, bisque, and glazeware. That's the final step in this. So it's got drying, trimming, attaching handles. Very important, this part right here. Talks about modern mold making, dipping and slip, two-color slip processes, stenciling, preparing it for glaze. Here's your sgraffito. Graffito. It's the scratching. So you're scratching little. After you put a glaze on, let it dry, then you scratch your designs in it. An Italian term, I suppose. And more great galleries here of all the different work. It's a fascinating, fascinating book. And like she said, you're going to have to get more books about glazing. She doesn't cover it all, and she doesn't do slabbing and hand forming and coil making and all that. She just does this one particular style because it's so important, and it shows a lot of tricks of the trade. So I learned a lot from this book, and I think you will too. It looks like it's a little bitty book, but this is really, if you're going to get into clay making, and I mean ceramics and clay work and all that and pottery, I think this would be a good book to keep. It's a good reference book. You go back to it, and it's a great little start to begin. It's fun, and it's a great way to work in the world. So thanks for watching KRAZ TV. And this is The Beginner's Guide to Wheel Throwing by Julia Claire Weber. Thank you. Goodbye from KRAZ TV.